Open sesame. It's time for the Sports Vault with Jersey Joe and Big Shot Rob.
Yeah, Joe, I think the Knicks are going to win the championship this year. They're going to beat the Heat.
Let me stop you right there, Rob. The Miami Heat will win the championship this year.
It's back-to-back titles for the Heat. The 2013 NBA championship resides once again in Miami.
The Madden cover winner in 2012 was Peyton Hillis.
Peyton who?
Running room with the ends. Peyton Hillis is loose. Sprint to the end zone. Touchdown.
The Jacksonville Jaguars have yet to win a game so far, Joe.
I think it's time to unleash Tim Tebow, Rob.
It definitely is.
Tebow looping to the left side. Tebow on the move. 10-yard line, 5-yard line. It's Tebow time.
Are you kidding me, Joe? Alex Rodriguez will make more than the entire Houston Astros roster this season?
I don't know what they're doing down there, Big Shot Rob.
That ball is high. It is far. It is good.
You can listen to the Sports Vault every Friday from 12:30 to 1:30 on WICR. Hello, Iona College. Welcome back to the Sports Vault. I am pumped up for this show. Last night, what a great night for sports it was. You had two huge college football games, a big NFL game, great NBA action. It was just unbelievable all across the board. We're going to cover all of them as always, but let's start it off with the recap of last night's Vikings-Redskins game. The Minnesota Vikings won 34-27. And one thing that really stuck out to me was the time of possession. You know, the Redskins, they had the ball for 36 minutes. The Vikings only held on to the ball 23 minutes on offense. So it's very weird. The Redskins had the ball much longer, but the Vikings were able to get a good win. A couple points I found where both defenses really couldn't stop one another. Both offenses just moved the ball. Probably two of the worst defenses in the NFL last night. And RG3, man, he got punished last night. The Vikings defense, when they got to him, they were just punishing him. They hit him really hard, and he was taking some shots. And all across the board, both sides, more on the Redskins side, though, I thought it was some really bad game management, especially by Mike Shanahan. I'm not too big a Shanahan guy, but I really thought that he had some really bad calls last night. He really did a bad job with game management, and that's why the Redskins are in the situation they are now, and good for Minnesota getting their first win in the United States. That was something interesting too, but let's get into our Week 10 NFL picks. Last week was a struggle, 7-6. Most people had a tough week, a very surprising week last week. But let's get right into it, Rob, with the Eagles and the Packers. The Packers, they're just injured all across the board. Aaron Rodgers is out. Seneca Wallace is in. I'm going to go with the Eagles in this one. They're coming off a big win, but I just don't know what I'm going to expect out of Seneca Wallace. They just have so many injuries, the Packers, so I'm going to go with the Eagles in this one.
I'm going to have to agree with you on this one, Joe. Aaron Rodgers, broken collarbone, out the next 3 weeks. Seneca Wallace really doesn't impress me. In Philly, you know, they just came off that huge win with Nick Foles throwing 7 touchdowns. A lot of people don't look at him as a franchise quarterback, but I think he's going to be great in Philly, and I think he's going to be there for the future.
Yeah, that's part of what worries me is that he's coming off that huge win with 7 touchdowns, so you'd expect everyone's going to pick Philly for that one. But that does worry me a little bit to go with Green Bay, but I think Green Bay is just too injured right now, and you got to go with Philly. The next one we have is the Tennessee Titans at home against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are coming off a bye. They've been playing better. I think they're going to play a tough game. Tennessee, I'm picking a win, but I think Jacksonville's due for a win eventually. They're not going to lose every game. They're going to sneak up on somebody one week. Just don't know who it's going to be, and it could be this week, but I think you just got to go with Tennessee just for it's the safest one.
Yeah, I'm still going to go with Tennessee, Joe. I really still don't like Jacksonville. You know me this whole year. I despise this team. And Justin Blackmon's gone from that team, their best wide receiver.
Their only offensive weapon.
Yeah. And now it's like really this team, I would just give up every game from now on just so I could get the number 1 pick this summer.
They're not doing anything until they get a quarterback, so they got to do something there. The next one we have is the Bills and the Steelers. E.J. Manuel is possible to start that game. Thad Lewis is also. So you're not 100% sure on what the status of E.J. is yet, but I think he might play. Pittsburgh's at home, though. Pittsburgh, it's a tough one because they really had a tough loss last week, but I think they'll bounce back. I think they'll get a win here at home.
Yeah, I like Pitt in this one. Big Ben played a great first half versus Tom Brady last week. You know, they fell apart in the second half. And this Buffalo team, if E.J. Manuel does play, they're a decent team. But the Steelers are going to be going after that the whole game, trying to hit them hard.
Absolutely. And the next one you have is the local New York Giants at home against the Oakland Raiders. I'm a big Terrell Pryor guy. The Raiders' defense is just really bad. The Eagles just did whatever they wanted on offense against them last week. The Giants are coming off their bye, so they should get an easy win here. But you never know with Big Blue. They just have surprised us all the time. They should get a win here, and I'm taking them. But the Giants, they never cease to amaze me. So who knows what's going to happen in that game.
I like the Giants for this one, Joe. With this game, the Raiders, they really struggled last week. And I was a little aggravated. I thought they would have played good against that Eagles team.
I agree. I thought they were going to get the win there.
Yeah, and they were my pick last week. I really thought Terrell Pryor was going to have a great week, but they lost. And now with the Giants, you hope they're coming back after this bye week. They're coming back from back-to-back wins, having that bye week. They're forming. Their chemistry's getting back together. I think they're going to get win number 3 of this week.
Yeah. I think that's a good possibility, too. After that, you have the Rams and the Colts. Now, the Colts have just been playing tremendous. Andrew Luck, I can't say enough about him. I think out of all the young quarterbacks, I would take him over anybody. I love Andrew Luck. I think whenever he's got the ball in his hands, they have a chance to win the game. And I'm going to pick with the Colts this one at home against the Rams. Pretty easy win.
Yeah, go with the Colts, definitely. Andrew Luck is one of the dangerous quarterbacks right now in the NFL. Peyton Manning, when he left Indianapolis, he was smart. He told them to pick Andrew Luck, and look what he's done. He's doing great things, so I'm going with the Colts for this one.
Absolutely. After that, you have the Seattle Seahawks on the road against probably the most disappointing team this year, the Atlanta Falcons. The Seahawks haven't played as well on the road this year. They're still 8-1 this year. They really got a lucky win last week against Tampa at home. I think everybody was surprised by the score of that one, but I'm going to go with Seattle here. I just think Atlanta's a mess on offense. They just don't look like their former selves. Something's wrong with that team this year, and I think Seattle's just too much of a better team to pick against.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Seattle on this one, too. Atlanta, they lost their top wide receiver. Tony Gonzalez came back this year trying to win a Super Bowl, and this team is just really bad. Matt Ryan's having the worst year of his career so far. But Seattle, I'm a little shaky with them after last week being down 21-0 to the Buccaneers, They're so lucky they came out with that win. But I'm still going to go with Seattle. I think they have better defense and they can beat Atlanta.
Yeah, it really is a tough game because I agree with you, everything you just said there, but let's just go with Seattle. The next one's an interesting one. It's the Bengals and the Ravens. I've seen a lot of people going with the Bengals in this one, but they've just been so inconsistent for me this year. They have bounced back from most of their losses nicely, but I have a hard time picking against Baltimore at home. I think they're going to get a win here, the Ravens, and get back on track. Cincinnati, I'm not sold on them yet.
I'm going to go with Cincinnati for this one, Joe. Even though, they have been very shaky, Cincinnati, I feel they're a better team than Baltimore. Baltimore's coming off a loss versus the Browns last week. And I think Andy Dalton should have a good week this week. You know how he is. He's just like Geno Smith. He struggles one week, then has an amazing week. Just like when he played the Jets, throwing 5 touchdowns, and then he has a bad week after that. But I think this should be a good week for Andy Dalton.
All right, we'll see what happens in that one. After that, Rob, big game for my Lions this week. Big game. They're playing the Bears. Jay Cutler is back. Not sure how effective he'll be coming off the injury, but he is playing. And the Lions really need a win here. I have faith. I think the Lions are going to get a win here. I think this is a huge game. This will be a big statement for Jim Schwartz. I have faith, though. I think the Lions can get a win here. I think Jay Cutler is going to be a little shaky, a little rusty. I think that'll help the Lions out, and I think they'll get a win on the road here.
Yeah, I like the Lions in this one. Even though Jay Cutler is back for the Bears, he's a dangerous weapon, but that Lions defense going to be all over him.
Absolutely.
Sue's been saying this whole week that he wants to play him, and you know what that means. He wants to lay that hard hit at him. And this week with the Lions, Calvin Johnson, let's see what he could do after that 300-yard performance.
Yeah, he's got a tough act to follow up, but nobody does it like Megatron, so we'll see what he does. The next one's a very good game. I'm really excited to watch this one. It's the Panthers and the 49ers. The 49ers are coming off a bye. The Panthers have been playing really good football as of late. The key matchup here to watch out for is the 49ers have been so effective running the football the last couple weeks, and I got to tell you, you're not running the football against the Carolina Panthers. Panthers. That front seven is one of the best in the NFL. They have a really solid defense, Carolina, and a lot of Kaepernick's success in the passing game has come from a lot of pressure being taken off by running the ball so effectively with Frank Gore. So I think if he has trouble running the football, they're going to have a lot of trouble, the 49ers. But they did have a bye to get prepared for this game. I think Harbaugh, with that extra week to prepare, found out a way to get this game won. And I'm going to go with the 49ers, but I think it'll be a very close game. If Carolina won, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I'm going with San Fran, too, for this one, Joe. This is two great defenses in the NFC playing hand-on, so this might be a low-scoring game this week. I've loved the way Cam Newton's been playing the last couple of weeks. He's looking elite right now, looking like that number one pick when he got drafted. San Fran, though, just like you said, they're running the ball, and that running is killing, but Panthers, D should play great against them. I'm still going San Fran. I think overall they're the better team.
Yeah. The following game, not a great one. You have the Houston Texans and the Arizona Cardinals. This one's a bit of a toss-up. Houston lost a heartbreaker last week against the Colts. Gary Kubiak is out. They have Wade Phillips as the interim coach. I think Arizona's been a little underrated. They've played very well at home this year, so I'm going to go with Arizona. The Texans' defense is still good, but so is Arizona's, and it's going to be a low-scoring game, I think, but I'm going to go with the Cardinals in this one.
Yeah, I'm going with the Cardinals, too. I'm not impressed with the Texans whatsoever this year, so I'm going to stick with the Cardinals.
After that, Rob, big game for the Chargers this week after that really tough loss to the Redskins. Broncos are coming off a bye. John Fox is out dealing with his post-surgery. The Chargers are at home, but I think you can't pick against Peyton Manning with that extra week to prepare. This is a big game for Denver, and I think Denver will get a win here.
Yeah, Denver should, especially coming off a bye week. You know how Peyton Manning is. He's going to try to have one of those 4-touchdown or 5-touchdown performances.
And the next one's a pretty good one as well. You have the New Orleans Saints against the Cowboys, who really, I thought they would do much better. They would get an easier win against the Vikings than they did last week, but they struggled a little bit. I'm going to go with the Saints here. I think they're at home. They play very well at home. The Cowboys' defense has not impressed me at all. They can't get off the field. Drew Brees is just going to tear that defense apart. He's coming off a tough loss to the Jets. He's going to want to bounce back, and I think the Saints will get back on track with a win here.
Yeah, you got to go with the Saints in this one. They're the home team. And I'm going to like seeing Rob Ryan where he's going to show Jerry Jones what he's missing out on with the defense.
Absolutely. Now, Rob, here's the riveting Monday night game. We have the Buccaneers and the Dolphins. What a riveting game there. But, Rob, I think you would disagree with me, but I'm going with the Bucs here. I just think everything going on in Miami right now, they're a mess. They've just got so many distractions right now. Tampa Bay's played much better the last couple weeks. I think they're due for a win. They're home. So I'm going to go with Tampa in this one.
I'm going with Miami still. Those are great opinions, I have to say about that, but overall Miami is the better football team, and I just want to see Darrelle Revis' face when he sees 0-9 on his record.
I could see why you want to see that, but speaking of the Dolphins, Rob, the big news this week has all been about the bullying scandal, the situation down there, and it's just a weird story. I think we're missing a lot of the facts and things like that, but the main thing that I was thinking with this is, if this was the Giants, the Steelers, the Broncos, the Chiefs, the Rams, this whole mess doesn't happen. And what do all those teams have? Tom Coughlin, Mike Tomlin, you have John Fox, you have Andy Reid, you have Jim Fisher. All these guys, big veteran coaches, leadership. It's all about the leadership on the team, and the Dolphins don't have leadership anywhere to be found. And I think it all goes back to Joe Philbin, his coaching staff. They deserve a lot of blame here. I think it's all entirely on them. Because like I said before, if this is one of those other teams, this thing does not happen. You've got to control your locker room, and I think the coaching staff there is completely to blame for this. And that's one of my main takeaways, Rob. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, the coaches should have definitely been looking out on this. You got to check up on you guys day in and day out. A situation shouldn't be built up this bad where a guy leaves the team. First of all, he's a key person to that offensive line now. So now you're down the offensive lineman.
Two of them, yeah. Martin and him.
Yeah, and now Martin, I really feel bad for this guy. I feel that they should have been looking this whole time to pay attention with him. But I'm also a little bit feel bad for Incognito because it's a really weird story in kind of a way.
It is.
I don't think all the facts are coming out the way they should be. So you really don't know that much about, did Incognito do all of this? Because a lot of players are defending him from his team.
That's the thing I'm taking away from it a lot too, Rob, is I don't think I've heard one Dolphins player come to the side of Martin. They're all on Incognito's side, which I find kind of weird. But here's another big beef I had, Rob. I saw Incognito when he was interviewed the other day, and he had a Miami Heat hat on, Rob. And the Miami Heat organization, I consider myself part of them, we do not tolerate that kind of behavior in that environment, Rob. So I think he needs to take the Heat hat off, put it away. I don't think he deserves to wear that kind of hat, Rob. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, he shouldn't be wearing that.
I'm glad we're on the same page there.
That's disrespectful to Martin. Martin, I really respect this kid. And I feel that I really feel bad for this guy. This is such a shame that this has to happen where he has to leave the team. And now it's like you come back to the team, you feel bad. How are the guys going to look at me now because this whole incident came out? And you can only hope the best happens for this kid, that he comes back, he's able to enjoy his time in the NFL. Because all these guys that play the sports, yeah, they're here to make the money, but they're here to play the sport they love and enjoy their whole life.
Absolutely. Those are some great points. And I just want to get this under. Do you think, I think he definitely would want to come back, but I don't see how he could come back to the Dolphins, especially with no support that he's been getting. Do you see him coming back to the Dolphins, or I think it'd have to be with another team?
I see him going somewhere else with another team. I think the Dolphins, they messed him up a lot, and it's time to move on, find another group of guys who are going to take you in, be your brother, and treat you as family the way you should be treated, especially when you're a great offensive lineman.
Absolutely. Good thoughts on that one. Let's go on to our next segment for football. And some big returns, Rob. We have Percy Harvin coming back for the Seahawks and Michael Crabtree. They've been practicing. They should be back in a couple weeks. And I was just curious, who do you think will have a bigger impact on when they come back?
Michael Crabtree.
Michael Crabtree.
That is the biggest thing that San Fran has been missing this whole year. Biggest wide receiver. When he's on that field, he crushes you on the field. He'll make Colin Kaepernick throw other receivers because he's playing double coverage. Michael Crabtree is the guy that's going to really impact his team.
I absolutely agree. You know, the 49ers are so predictable. They're one-dimensional without Crabtree. All the defenses know Bolden's going to get the ball. They just put everybody on Bolden. And it's really made Kaepernick have a tough time. And I think that's why he's struggled so far in the earlier season, is because he's had to rely so heavily on Bolden. It's been so predictable. But now I think Bolden's back, Crabtree's back. You can spread the field a little bit, spread the ball around, and I think people are forgetting Crabtree and Kaepernick. They were a very good combo right there. Crabtree was his guy. He was always looking for him. I think now you get him back, you can have a much better offense throwing the ball. And if Frank Gore keeps running the ball the way he's been doing it, and you get him back, I think that's going to be very big for the 49ers. But I think Harvin's pretty big for Seattle too, because Rice is out for the year, so he's going to have an impact there. But I just think Seattle's offense isn't as explosive as the 49ers are. So I think Crabtree, me and Rob agree, that's going to be a big impact. But that's going to do it for our NFL segment. We will be back, and we have a huge college football segment. Huge games last night. We're going to cover them, and we'll be right back.
Dives out to the 7-yard line. Vance Johnson in motion, reverses the motion, and the pitch is to Winder. Winder coming to the right, cuts to the 10-yard line. And the Broncos will have a